It's time for today's American Family News Briefing. I'm Bronson Woodruff. Colleges in California and Texas have started to respond forcefully to the anti-Israel, pro-Hamas student protests. They've been disrupting campuses across the country for weeks now. Police peacefully arrested student protesters at the University of Southern California. This was hours after officers at the University of Texas at Austin aggressively detained dozens. This is in the latest of the clashes between law enforcement and the anti-Israel mobs that have been allowed to take over campuses across the nation. Over at Columbia University in New York, the protesters have been given permission to continue their tent city for at least another day. Jewish students there have been told, because of the threats from the pro-Hamas students, that they can complete their academic year from off-campus locations, remote learning. Now, just yesterday, House Speaker Mike Johnson visited Columbia and called on the university president to resign over her failure to protect the Jewish students. He also said a few other things. Here he is speaking to a crowd at Columbia.
Go back to class and stop the nonsense. Look, if we want to have a debate on campus about the merits of these things, let's do that. But you can't intimidate your fellow students and make them stay home from class. Think about that. Is that right?
The Supreme Court is taking up former President Donald Trump's bid to avoid prosecution based on arguments of presidential immunity. Trump's lawyers argue that former presidents are entitled to absolute immunity for their official acts. Otherwise, they say, politically motivated prosecutions of former presidents would become routine, and presidents couldn't function as the commander-in-chief if they had to worry about criminal charges. The former president spoke to reporters in Manhattan, saying the case should be thrown away.
My constitutional rights have been taken away from me, but every single expert, every legal scholar, every respected scholar has said this is no case, there is no case here. This is just a political witch hunt.
And U.S. births fell last year, resuming a long national slide. A little under 3.6 million babies were born in 2023. This according to some provisional statistics released on Thursday by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. That's about 76,000 fewer than the year before, and the lowest one-year tally since 1979. And that'll do it for today's American Family News Update. I'm Bronson Woodruff.